AskReddit by Redditor. What is something embarrassing you did without noticing? Started unbuttoning and unzipping my trousers while I walked towards the toilet, just like I do at home, because I'm efficient like that. Except I was at work and was walking through the shared office. Not sure if this counts as autopilot, but I was about 14 at school and we had this classmate who had Down syndrome. He kept saying suck my pages and a bunch of us couldn't help but laugh. When time came for our teacher to do the register, she called out my name. Instead of saying here, miss, I said suck my, but managed to stop myself by slapping my hand over my mouth. People started laughing, and our teacher couldn't quite make out what I said, wondering why everyone was laughing. One girl saved my ass by telling the teacher that I accidentally said here, mum instead of here, miss. TLDR, classmate keeps saying suck my pages. So I nearly told my teacher to suck my pages. Girl saves my ass. Was in college working full-time nights as a security guard in full-time class. Stopped at a red light, pushed my garage door opener and drove through. Luckily there were no cars around. Put my Bluetooth headphones in the freezer to charge. Wanted to go to work with the car, but forgot to turn the engine on. I stood there for 10 minutes trying to figure it out. A neighbor even came to help me and didn't see the problem. My dog's favorite part of the day is dinner time. I pull out her food. She starts wagging and doing the tippy taps, get a scoop of food, and instead of going to her bowl I dump the full scoop into the trash can. She then just looked at me with the saddest eyes, and I felt terrible, so she got a little bit extra food and some pets. This is the first comment that I've genuinely laughed at. Poor pup, hahaha. I can't. Woke up, automatically got out of bed, got dressed, brushed my teeth, packed up my backpack, headed out of my dorm, happened to glance at the clock in the lounge. It was 1:30 AM. I was feeling an encroaching sickness coming upon me one time, so I decided to be proactive and make myself a couple of days worth of the most baller chicken soup I could manage in advance, so I'd be able to eat well, even when I was dying of the lurgy. I chopped the carrots, I sauteed the onions, I stewed the chicken bones, and I cooked that motherfucker down for 8 hours into the most delicious stock you could imagine. Then I poured it all through a colander into the sink. Not me, but years ago my friend was making gravy for his meal. It had turned a bit lumpy in the saucepan, and he had the brilliant idea to just strain the lumps out. So he holds a strainer over the sink drain and pours the gravy through. Great job, he thinks, very pleased with himself because of how he had caught all the nasty lumps so effectively. Then it slowly dawned on him that his gravy was all down the sink, and he was holding a strainer full of gravy lumps. I was looking all over for my keys and finally thought that I might have left them in the car. I went outside and my car was locked. So I pulled my keys out of my pocket, unlocked the door, opened the door, and realized how much of an idiot I am. The battery on my car remote went dead, and I was late for work. I frantically pressed the unlock button to get it to work. No dice. I was like shit. How do I get to work? Should I work from home? I rather not though. Damn it. What to do? Then I realized I could use the key. You know, that jagged metal thing you jab in keyholes. The key isn't even hidden in the remote. I kissed my wife's best friend. It was totally innocent and something we laughed about. I had to take a bus to work every day at about 4 AM. My wife usually drove me to the stop so that I didn't have to leave my car there for 14 hours. My wife's friend was staying with us while she looked for a job and house in the area. She was getting up early anyways, so she decided she would take me and let my wife sleep. When we got to the stop, I just instinctively leaned over and kissed her goodbye. She had a dumbfounded look on her face, and mine instantly turned red as I realized what I'd done. I just said sorry, it was a habit. My wife poked fun at me for days for putting the moves on her friend. I used to work on a farm and we always took our boots off before entering the homestead for meal breaks. One afternoon I absent-mindedly unbuttoned my jeans and started to take them off instead of my boots. I guess my brain decided I was done for the day. I used to work for Comcast in their call center. I worked 3 p.m. to 12 a.m. so the only thing that was open when I would get off work was McDonald's. During the holidays they have unlimited overtime. Me being 19 and having no obligations at the time, decided to just work non-stop until I fell down at my desk. I worked 3 days straight of odd, taking my mandatory breaks every couple of hours and napping in the lunchroom here and there. Finally I decided I'd had enough and started on my way home at around 2 a.m. one morning. I stopped at the McDonald's drive-thru because I wanted something hot to eat. Up until this point I'd subsisted on mints and packs of crackers from a vending machine. The conversation went something like this. "Drive-thru lady, go ahead and order when you're ready. Me. Thanks for calling Comcast, home of the triple play. My name is Albadal 200. How can I assist you today?" Asterisk a very long pause. I ended up sleeping in the parking lot of that McDonald's for about 12 hours in my car. The manager eventually knocked on my window and asked me if I was homeless and if I needed to come in and warm up. "Have a good day, sir. Love you too." Awkward shuffle out of Panera. I'm an ex-bus driver and many times on my way home from work, I would go to pull into a bus stop in my car. That's awesome. Do you ever start driving your route by accident? My wife's friend and her husband were leaving after having dinner at our house. As they're leaving, she says "love you" to my wife. Naturally, I respond "love you too. Yeah, good night." As a 911 dispatcher I ended a 911 call with an accidental "I love you." Extremely awkward to say the least. I ended a routine phone call with my boss with "love you, bye," and hung up before I realized what I just did. Boss hugged me when I got in and teased me for a week. Got in my car to buy groceries and drove the 45 minutes to work. PS. But the actually embarrassing one is when you are a home care nurse and you walk into one of your patients' home at 9 p.m. expecting them to have milk and bread in stock. This is my biggest one. My wife has to remind me constantly I'm not going to work when I drive on the weekends. "Remember," he muttered and climbed in his car. "You're off to the market. You're not going far." "The market," he mumbled. "The market, that's it." He looked at his office. He whispered, "Oh shit." I drove home from Phoenix to Prescott, forgetting the fact that I had moved to Flagstaff about a month prior. Got all the way to my old driveway before realizing my error. Both Prescott and Flagstaff are north of Phoenix, but are about 1.75 hours apart from each other. Just today I went to the grocery store, packed everything into my backpack at self-checkout and went home. As soon as I got home I remembered I never actually paid. Edit. To all those asking if I went back and paid, I did. As soon as I noticed, I went back, swiped my card in the self-checkout, and got it over with. Nobody had even noticed. The store is about 300 meters from my apartment complex. For clarification as to how I got away with it, the self-checkout works by swiping your personal discount card, then grabbing a scanner that lights up. You scan all your items before putting them into your cart/basket. When you're done, you put the scanner back, then go to one of the self-checkout registers, swipe your discount card again to create a bill to pay, then pay it using your debit card. I did everything except swipe my card and pay, since I usually do all this before packing everything. Yesterday I was worried if they'd fit, so I wanted to find out first, put them all into my backpack, and then went my merry way without a second thought. When I worked at Target I did this once. A couple came to my register. I put everything in a bag and handed it to them. They went out, "Thanks," and walked away. Took me a solid 5 minutes to realize I didn't put anything through the register. I was feeling an encroaching sickness coming upon me one time, so I decided to be proactive and make myself a couple of days worth of the most baller chicken soup I could manage in advance, so I'd be able to eat well, even when I was dying of the lurgy. I chopped the carrots, I sauteed the onions, I stewed the chicken bones, and I cooked that motherfucker down for 8 hours into the most delicious stock you could imagine. Then I poured it all through a colander into the sink. This one hurts to read. On the railroad, you can get verbal permission to pass a red signal or flag, either from the dispatcher or the employee who placed the red flag. You cannot under any circumstances pass a blue light or flag, because that protects employees working on / between rolling stock beyond the blue signal. Driving home in the car late one night, I decided to take a shortcut through the local university. I go around the corner and see a blue light marking a police call station. Immediate conclusion: shit, can't go that way. Glad I'm not alone. I've done this driving through the UIC campus on my way to work at least once a month.
Thanks for watching the video. Please leave a like and subscribe for daily Reddit content.